You work 12 hours a day, you cut back on Starbucks, you stop eating out, yet at the end of the month, your bank account is still drained by credit card bills. Why? While financial gurus on TV keep telling you, work hard, max out your 401 CAC, and you'll retire rich, the brutal truth is that if you still believe that advice, you are destroying your own financial future. You are willingly feeding yourself into the inflation meat grinder. The system is rigged to keep you trapped in the rat race, grinding from paycheck to paycheck. The ultra-wealthy in America don't get rich off a salary. They get rich because they own the rule book. That is why the working class pays the highest taxes on their hard-earned money, while billionaires legally wipe out their tax bills to zero. This video isn't about saving a few pennies. This is the blueprint that exposes the cutthroat reality of the one-fund Trump. If you want to escape the trap, you need to know the rules. Let's dive in. The first trap keeping most Americans stuck is W-2 income. The middle class always looks at big tech engineers or Wall Street VPs making $450,000 a year with pure envy. You think that kind of salary means financial freedom, but the reality is brutal. The higher the salary, the harsher the tax bill. America's progressive tax system bleeds these high-level corporate slaves of up to 45 fund Trump of their income through federal, state, and city taxes, especially in places like New York or California. The biggest mistake is thinking that a higher salary equals wealth. A W-2 salary is linear income. It vanishes the exact second you stop trading your hours for dollars. You aren't actually getting rich, you're just upgrading from an iron cage to a gold. Even if you get a massive raise, your account balance mysteriously evaporates into invisible consumer traps. You've officially stepped onto the hedonic treadmill, where the American marketing machine manipulates you into lifestyle creep. Today's younger generation isn't just drowning in student loans. They are being suffocated by credit card debt driven by buy now, pay later schemes just to fund temporary Instagram lifestyles and tech upgrades. The working class struggles with soaring grocery bills, while the middle class chokes on velvet-covered debt. Both make the exact same mistake, spending money on a fake illusion of wealth instead of buying actual freedom. The harder you grind, the more exhausted you get, while your bosses seem to do less but get exponentially richer. What's the real story? Working hard for a paycheck is a classic corporate lie designed to keep you right where you are. This is the ultimate mindset shift, dividing the poor from the wealthy. The working class optimizes for hourly wages, while the ultra-rich optimize for ownership and equity. Major corporate CEOs gladly take a baseline salary of just $1 because they know earned income is taxed the heaviest. Instead, they take stock options and assets that compound automatically while they sleep. You must own something if you want freedom. A factory worker racking up 10 hours of overtime will never beat a shareholder watching their net worth skyrocket by millions overnight. Once you move past the paycheck trap and cross the $5 million net worth mark, the financial math flips completely. You enter the stage of the accumulator. At a conservative 8-fund Trump annual return, a $5 million portfolio generates $400,000 a year on its own. That's an executive-level salary landing in your account without you ever having to pull an all-nighter, sit through a soul-crushing meeting, or answer to a boss. At this level, the wealthy aren't just buying public index funds anymore. Giants like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs roll out the red carpet to their private banking divisions, granting access to exclusive private credit funds and off-market commercial real estate deals. Sounds amazing, right? But the reason you've never heard of these lucrative deals isn't because you aren't smart enough. The answer is much more sinister. The system intentionally locks you out under the guise of investor protection. The American financial system enforces a highly unfair legal barrier called the accredited investor rule. The law states that to buy cheap, early-stage equity in hot tech startups before they go public, you must have a net worth over $1 million or an annual income over $200,000. This means the middle and lower classes are legally banned from the most profitable deals on earth. You are only allowed to buy shares on the public stock market after the price has been pumped to the moon so the rich can cash out. The system protects the margins of the wealthy by closing the door on everyone. But once you break past that legal gatekeeper and hit $20 million, work becomes 100 fund Trump optional. You become the sophisticated investor. You're no longer trading fractional shares on Robinhood. You are deploying capital to buy 10 fund Trump stakes in private logistics companies or funding massive commercial real estate portfolios directly. At this tier, you get access to exclusive off-market deal flow through tight-knit private networks. Money is no longer a tool for consumption. It is a passport that grants you entry into the highest rooms of power in America. America prides itself on being the land of opportunity. But the truth is, the tax code was written by the rich, for the rich. Billionaires use a lethal financial weapon called buy, borrow, die. to legally pay $0 in income tax, something the everyday worker could never pull off. Buy. They accumulate high-growth, non-dividend assets like corporate equity or real estate that don't trigger immediate taxable income. Borrow. Instead of selling stock for cash and triggering a 20-fund Trump capital gains tax, they pledge their assets to a bank as collateral for a multi-million-dollar line of credit at dirt-cheap interest rates. Under U.S. law, borrowed money is not income, meaning it is 100-fund Trump tax-free. Die. When they pass away, the assets flow to their heirs through a trust. Thanks to the step-up in basis loophole, the asset's cost basis resets to current market value, legally erasing decades of capital gains taxes. The system forces you to pay taxes on every single paycheck, while they use bank debt to stay immune. Do you see how the game is rigged against you? Once you weaponize the tax code at this scale, your wealth compounds at an uncontrollable speed. When you cross DOLA 100 million, money officially mutates into systemic control. Individuals at this tier don't look for investments. They build an exclusive institution for their family asset management called a single family office, SFO. The annual cost just to run an SFO is more than a middle-class family makes in a lifetime. You don't watch the market from the sidelines. You sit directly on the board of directors of major corporations. You call the shots on who becomes CEO, dictate multi-billion-dollar mergers, and control the livelihoods of tens of thousands of everyday workers to preserve your dynasty's status for generations. Looking up from the DOLA 100 million peak, you see the true titans of our world, the billionaires, DOLA 1B+. At this scale, wealth loses its personal face and becomes purely institutional. A billionaire doesn't care about daily stock tickers. They view the world through macro-level global capital flows. They redirect billions of dollars into sovereign infrastructure, renewable energy grids, or world-altering tech sectors. While the working class stresses over gas prices at the local pump, billionaires are sitting behind closed doors with prime ministers and sovereign wealth funds, deciding exactly which country gets the next mega pipeline or global supply chain hub. Here is the final ultimate twist of the financial matrix. Even billionaires do not sit at the very top of the food chain. Standing above them are the architects of capital. These are ultra-private, old money dynasties whose wealth is heavily fortified inside centuries-old global structures and trusts, ensuring they never appear on a Forbes billionaire list. They are the ones who engineered the rules of the Federal Reserve, dictated global tax policies, and control the shadow banking system. The financial game begins by making you think it's about money. Then, you think it's about assets. But, at the absolute peak, it is entirely about the structure. Whoever controls the structure controls the world. The breakdown of the American financial matrix reveals a harsh truth. If you are in the lower or middle class and you keep playing by the old rules, grinding out overtime and blindly trusting a standard 401k, you are walking straight into the tax and inflation trap. The point of this video is not to make you feel hopeless against the financial elites. The ultimate goal is to get you to stop playing the wrong game. To break free, you must change your strategy. Start shifting even the smallest percentage of your active income into owning productive assets, whether that's fractional equity, real estate, or a side hustle that cash flows, instead of just trading your finite time for money. You don't need to become a billionaire by tomorrow, but you must step out of the employee mindset and step into the owner mindset. What level of the game are you currently at? What is your biggest bottleneck? And do you think the system is rigged against the working class? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's start mastering the rules of wealth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.